got to leave it.
Hey, good afternoon, Aggie Land. We welcome you back inside the TexAgs studio. It's episode 14, Thanksgiving edition, Longhorn edition of the Looch and Bock TexAgs podcast. I'm Gabe Bock, joined each week by the source, Billy Liucci. We're live every Wednesday at high noon at texags.com/live on the TexAgs YouTube channel and the podcast platform of your choice. Search Looch and Bock and subscribe to the podcast. Looch and Bock presented by Bock Realty Group. Luxury, new construction, first-time home buying, investment, real estate, and much more. Go to BockRealtyGroup.com, browse our inventory of active listings, and give us a phone conversation or an email. Gabe at BockRealtyGroup.com. Would love to have a conversation with you about how we can help you with your goals, real estate investing or otherwise, buying, selling. We'd love to help you. Bock Realty Group, turning our experience into your advantage. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and my goodness, what do we have going on this week? We got a huge one. A&M Texas in the state capitol for the first time in 15 years, Liucci, and a ton on the line. Kickoff Friday at 6:30. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Just ready for this one, Gabe. You know it. This is when's the last time A&M was? I guess it would have been 92. The last time they were undefeated playing Texas.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Other than the tie with SMU in 94, yes.
Yeah. I know there is and hopefully both those results end up the same, because both times A&M went, or the last two times A&M went down there like that. That was kind of the start of my Aggie experience as a student, and they went down there and kicked the crap. They beat the hell out of Texas.
That is interesting that the last two times they were undefeated had to go over there because it was even years.
Yeah. And they won the games because they were the better team. And I think that's the case this year as well. That guarantees you nothing, because Texas isn't. If Texas wasn't very good, I can remember even in the Mac Brown era, when they were as high as that program's ever been, there were games where, look up for the 40-29 game. What was A&M's record? 12-7. What was A&M? These games, I think 12-7.
That was
the
06.
Aggies were actually a pretty good team. In 12-7, that was a pretty good A&M team.
We were a 3-loss team coming off back-to-back defeats going into Austin.
Texas Tech and Nebraska.
Oklahoma and Nebraska. We lost to Tech earlier in the year.
So, thank you, Luke. So,
Luke Evangelist.
That was a pretty good A&M team.
Stat analyst.
What about in 08?
Snack go-getter.
What about in 08?
In 08, we were terrible.
No, 07, I'm sorry.
07 was here, right? And we just demolished them, 38-30. I can't believe they scored 30.
What was it? It was 38-17.
We were coming off 3 straight losses.
Yeah.
Now, they were all in the top 10.
Yeah, but still.
Kansas had it. We lost.
What was A&M's record?
We were a 5-loss team.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5.
So my point is, Colt McCoy, a year before Texas played for a national title.
Yep.
Or no.
2 years.
2 years before. Colt McCoy got beat by a 5-loss A&M team. I mentioned, the year A&M won the Big 12 title, they lost to Texas in year 1 under Mac Brown down in Austin. With that 40-29 game, what was A&M's record? Final record.
Well, what year are you talking about? Because even
that was Vince Young's. That was 05.
Yeah, 05. We were. Remember, we got Iowa Stated. That was
A&M was bad.
Black
That's
year.
my point. That was a hell of a football game.
We had lost 3 in a row going into that, and Stephen McGee was making his first start after Reggie got hurt at Norman.
Yeah. So what was A&M's
1,
record?
2, 3, 4, 5-loss team. We're 5-5.
And they gave Vince Young and the greatest Texas team ever, one of the greatest Big 12 teams ever, all they wanted.
How about the year Colt played for the national championship? We almost beat him. If he didn't have that long run up the gut, we probably beat him.
That was him versus Gerard.
And Gerard went for 342.
Yeah, so
and ran for 100.
My point is, being the better team is why the odds are in your favor. It's why I believe A&M will win this football game on Friday night.
Yep.
But there's so much history, obviously distant past, but just in the recent history of this rivalry, where every single thing tells you this is going to probably end up being a hard-fought game. This is not a great – Texas is fooling a lot of people into thinking that they've been playing great football.
Their defense has been heinous lately.
In no world have they been. Yeah, in no world have they been playing great football.
Yeah.
Even their offense, it's up and down. Oh, we lit up Arkansas. We lit up Mississippi State in the fourth quarter. We had 17 going in the fourth quarter, 20 or whatever against a really bad defense.
Or couldn't close it out necessarily. Now, held on for dear life, but Bobby almost got him.
Yep. So
they couldn't close that thing out.
So they've been playing better football, but I wouldn't sit there, and people are convinced that they're playing great football. I look at SEC Network. I listen to nationally. I was sitting there for breakfast this morning at a restaurant. I saw Longhorn logo with Feinbaum and them talking about it for a couple minutes. I'm like, why are they not talking about the number 3 team in the country here, or both logos? They're so quick to want to
hoist,
buy into that. Famously, Texas is back, and Arch and this whole thing. They're so quick to want that I do think they're taking it way too far in terms of trying to sell us that this is a really good team. And I think the Texas people that really know, that are rational, understand the reality, which is they're getting better. If South Carolina pushed this A&M team to the brink, if Arkansas traded scores with them for most of that football game, I think that final score is a little deceptive, but traded scores with them. If Auburn could stand toe-to-toe, then yeah, we can too. That, to me, especially at home, that's how I would be thinking if I'm a Texas fan. And I'd be going, hey, if Arch gets hot, he can be really good right now.
Yeah, because that's one of the areas where they could have a possible edge because they could hit those little screen passes and take it deep. All of a sudden, we don't tackle well that night. They're pretty good at getting these 30 and 40-yard pass plays.
Yeah, that's the reality.
Right.
Is keeping it within reasonable levels. But the other reality is this offense, in 8 games against Power 5 competition, Power 4, 8 games, has scored more than 1 touchdown in a game only 4 times. Half of their games against Power 5, they've produced 1 offensive touchdown. Would you have thought that?
No, not necessarily.
Now, when I say it, 10 points against Georgia, 23 against OU, which is 3 field goals, a touchdown, and punt return.
Kentucky, 1 touchdown.
1 against Kentucky. That was a 5-yard field after a punt return, or they probably don't reach the end zone.
Did they have a pick 6 in that game?
No, the 2 field goals and a punt return.
So Mississippi State and Vandy, they did well.
And then and Arkansas. Yeah. And then there's Ohio State, 14-7.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is a good Texas team that is playing their best football, but this is a great A&M team that's been in the top 5 for weeks and is undefeated, and it's hard to do. It's exceptionally hard to go undefeated. It's hard to even get to 11-0. This stuff about schedules, you want to talk about that for a minute?
Why not?
What do you think? You're hearing all the criticism. What are your thoughts when you hear that? I'm putting you on the spot here. Just the people like Heather Dinich, the committee chairs, people on Twitter, fans, media members.
Well, what happens if Mizzou beats you? Are they right in the CFP conversation? I mean, does that jolt them into?
Yeah, same with LSU.
What about LSU? That was a top 10 team when we beat them.
They were top 15.
Top 15. They're long gone, but we had something to do with that.
Yeah,
we have vanquished a lot of these teams and caused them to go into a shell, and then hence fire their.
Florida came in here having beaten Texas,
right?
Thinking they saved their season. Some people picked Florida to beat A&M that day. A lot of people picked LSU to beat A&M.
Notre Dame on a neutral site would beat every team but about 4 or 5 in the country right now, the way they're playing football.
And A&M's one of those 4 or 5 because we've proved it.
There.
And then when I hear people, and I heard it even last night on SEC Network, it was disappointing to me. I forget who said it, but it was like they felt the need to bring up a non-holding call against Notre Dame.
We're still on that. 12 weeks later.
3 months later. You know how many times, they act like that was, I didn't hear them with that same energy when Johnny Manziel got horse collared, and they didn't call that, and that would have beat Auburn and had A&M in the national title chase in November. They didn't, and maybe would have won Johnny a Heisman, a second Heisman. I never heard them mention that. Never. It's just weird. And that's just, people are getting like, it's like a mob of people talking down on this schedule. And to me, here's the thing. Like, talk about A&M schedule. I will tell you, that is an easier SEC schedule than most.
It's still an SEC schedule, though. So how does it compare to Indiana's schedule?
Gabe, that is the flaw in their argument.
It's still SEC, man. What about Tech's schedule?
There is an anti-SEC bias. People talk about SEC bias. There's an anti, and that is the rest of college football, the rest of the bitter, jaded, feelings hurt media that think that the SEC has been, force-fed to them for years and years, and that's them. It's backlash from that, whether it's the ACC, whether it's Klatt, whether it's today it was Yogi Roth, whether it's somebody from the Big Ten, whether it's Signetti, whether it's Danny Cannell, whether it's, anyone in the Big 12, Texas Tech fans, people in your mentions with cactus and pieces of wheat waving around. Like, it's like the Big 12, the Big 10, the ACC, it's Ohio State fans. They're just on the assault for no reason when they're sitting in number one.
And all those media people you mentioned don't work for ESPN, and SEC is in bed with ESPN. Yeah. So the non-ESPN guys are the loudest. And the ESPN people have been in business with Texas for so long.
And it's so funny to me that Texas and OU fans are now realizing this. And Texas fans are really getting it because Texas, even if they beat A&M, the Longhorns are probably on the outside looking in. And now you're going to understand, because this is what I said last year. You didn't have to go and play in those venues against great teams. You played Vandy. It was a year ago. I know they had beaten Alabama. That atmosphere is much more intense now than it was. Vandy's a lot better this year even than they were last year. But when Nashville and Vandy was like your toughest road environment, you got Arkansas at 11 a.m. Now you're looking at it, you go, we had to go to the Swamp. And Florida's not any good, but they got us on that day in the Swamp. They got momentum going. That place was intimidating. Yeah, you had to go into Starkville with the cowbells, and you barely escaped. But you did. You had to go into some random-ass Big 12 atmosphere in Lexington, Kentucky, in Bluegrass, in a basketball school, and almost got taken down by an sub-average Kentucky team.
If he put the ball in the hands of his freshman quarterback, I think they do win that game.
It's true. But that's the hard part. And Texas saw that this year. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, they had a tougher draw slightly than A&M. Mm-hmm. You put Georgia in there, it's significantly tougher.
But they had 3 losses, should have 5 on that tougher draw. We have 0 losses on an almost even draw.
It's not even comparable. The fact that anyone's trying to compare 3-0 or even 3-1 if A&M were to lose, it's not comparable. If they're doing that, they're actually football dumb, as we call it. But I'm talking about Texas. If they were to beat A&M and lose 3, they're going to be on the outside looking in. And Longhorn fans now know, I would have loved to have gone to Manhattan, Kansas this year, or Lawrence, or Ames, Iowa, who's one of the better ones, or Tucson to play a ranked Arizona team. Or Tech went, and now they didn't have, in fairness, they didn't have their starting quarterback, but they went and lost to an Arizona State team. ASU sitting at 20. They couldn't even go into Starkville and win. It's remarkable. And Gabe, so anybody that says that and they don't bring up, if you don't bring up Indiana's schedule or Oregon's schedule. I heard Yogi Ross saying that Oregon's playing these wars every week. I'm like, what in the F are you talking about? It's not even, they're not just making things up. Oh. Oregon.
Drugs are legal where Yogi lives.
That's true.
So
Indiana, Oregon, Texas Tech, unless the best football in America is played in the state of Utah, and we don't know about it. Texas Tech.
Good football.
By the way, Miami. Early in the year, I'm like, man, they've played the toughest schedule, right? A&M, they both played Florida. Florida State stinks. South Florida's not getting in the playoff.
The ACC
and the ACC is a joke.
Yeah.
So,
and they got Notre Dame at home.
And they didn't play a couple of the best teams in the ACC. And now they still have to play Pitt, who I think is one of the better ones.
Yep, playing well.
Miami's schedule. How about Notre Dame's schedule versus an A&M?
All the energy pointed directly toward College Station. And if we're talking about Texas as an improved team, are they bringing up that in the last 4 games when they've played offenses with a pulse, they've given up 35.5 points per game in the last 4? You throw in Ohio State in the first 3, it's 15.5.
Yeah.
Hill gets hurt, but they've been a shell of themselves lately. The defense has been atrocious in the last 4 SEC games.
I'm watching, I would say maybe it's because they're number 3, so they're the target. But Indiana's 2 and Ohio State's 1. Look, no knock on what I've seen from Ohio State. When you watch them play, you can do both things. You can say they look like the best team in the country and trash their schedule, which no one has done. That is a god-awful schedule right now. And if you cancel out Texas and Notre Dame and Texas and Michigan, even if you want to call that even, which I think we all know Notre Dame would beat the piss out of Michigan. But if you wanted to even those out and go with all the games in between, how on God's green earth are we sitting here acting like what A&M played? They're not doing it right and factoring in across conferences. And here's something for you, Gabe, that's insane.
Okay, and then I've got a follow-up to that.
Okay, I tweeted this.
Okay. Damn.
This is this guy, Adam McClintock, and they very accurately predict for years now how the playoffs going to rank them.
So he's like the Lenardi of the CFP.
They do a great, and the schedule strength, Gabe, is ranked on the schedule strength. It's basically based on what the committee and Mr. 6'7" Yurachek. We'll talk about that in a minute. That buffoon.
What are we doing? Can he resign too?
The formula is basically opponent win-loss percentage, and then opponent's opponent win-loss percentage.
Yeah. Sort of like the old RPI in some ways.
And they go off of this. Mm-hmm. This is a big part of their thing, and it's why he can predict it so well. Here are some of their strength of schedule metrics they're using.
Okay.
A&M's 100. 100. That's what Dinich is looking at. Some of these A&M's 100. Texas is 70. They played Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Georgia. They're 70. Not to mention Vandy. Hear me again. They're 70. Vanderbilt 68. Ole Miss 66. Okay? A&M at 100. Now get this. 13 UAB. 18 Charlotte. Georgia Southern 48. UTSA's in the 40s. If you can't look at that and realize how mother bleepity bleeping stupid that is for a committee full of people to sit there and use that, it's lazy, it's outdated, it's embarrassing, it's disgraceful.
Yep.
Everyone on that committee, I don't give a damn if it's somebody I meet along the way or somebody I know. I don't care anymore. That is an absolute fraudulent method. College football needs to fix it. And I think a lot of these people on the committee should never serve again, starting with Hunter Yurachek and Mack Rhodes, but that part already took care of itself.
Yeah, so took care of that for all of us.
So I just think, come up with a better way. And again, I took A&M out of that. That was Texas, that was Ole Miss, that was Vandy.
Right.
Versus some of these schools. This is what he says about A&M.
Well, the SEC, you're going to beat each other up, so your schedule, your record is going to be, there's just so much of
This is what he says about A&M, which I thought was just outlandish, crazy. He says, pretty simple formula for the Aggies. Have to keep winning. One loss, and they tumbled down the rankings due to poor strength of schedule and less than impressive GC. 2 L's, and they were likely out. Just keep winning. So this guy
going into this week,
and this guy accurately projects it. So
wait, 2 L's. If you lose, you're not going there anyway. So he already doesn't know what he's talking about.
You could if Ole Miss and Bama lost. It's not, but if they did, he's literally saying, and again, he follows the trends of that. If A&M would lose to Texas and lose to Georgia in the SEC title game, is projecting that an 11-2 A&M would be out of the playoff. And again, I'm not trying to fearmonger here because A, I don't think that scenario is going to play out. B, I don't even think that's accurate. But the fact that it's even a topic tells you how stupid. But the more significant one is him saying if they lose, they'll tumble. Now, what is a tumble? Is that 3? Would they go from 3-7 to lose to a top 16 team on the road in a rivalry game and be 11-1?
You just kind of rank
and you go to
the
like
bottom
7
of the one-loss teams, but ahead of Notre Dame.
You're playing like an OU or a Notre Dame in the first round at home. Like this committee, I don't trust them. I think they're absolute dumbasses. I think they're unintelligent. I think they had no business. Unintelligent, I mean from a football standpoint, they lack understanding of the game and how to evaluate across conferences, which is difficult. You need real people doing that. You don't need buffoons that are going to sit there and make 6-7 jokes. I mean, a lot of ADs don't know shit about football.
We coach a 13-year-old travel baseball team. You can't count without these kids using the 6-7. Yeah. They're 13.
I think
Yurichek's the athletic director in the SEC.
The fact that guy wanted this job, I would go to ends of the earth if his name ever came up here. That might have been his Howard Dean moment.
Yeah.
Like that.
Michigan and Washington. Rhode Island.
6-7. He looked like.
And Reese goes, "Do I have to laugh here?"
And then he called Reese rich on top of it.
Yeah, he did. Right after using that.
So that guy's the head of the committee.
Marcus Reed and Rich Davis.
And that guy's also the guy. I just don't understand how you can't media train these people to not sound so imbecilic when they get up there.
That's a
I used that on my
word.
tweets twice today. But I don't understand how you can't properly media train these people or say, hey, you're actually going to suck in front of the camera on the spot answering questions. So we're not going to put you up there, Gabe. Billy, we're going to go put Nuno up there instead. He'd be bad at that too. We're going to go put Zane up there because we think he would do a better job. So do you think Yurichek is who they think is the best to go?
Yes.
Because I think so.
I nominated him. Look.
Him and all his jokes.
It's ridiculous. But you know how to fix all this?
Beat Texas.
Freaking beat them and win the SEC. And now you would have beaten the quote-unquote highest-ranked team currently in the conference, right, on your conference schedule. And you would have beaten Georgia, who's probably going to be in the top, or Alabama. Probably Bama. It would be Alabama in that case because Alabama's probably not losing to Auburn. Beat Alabama, who still could get into the playoff, even if you beat them. They could back in there as the last team because you're still Bama. 13th data point, you can beat them in a close game.
I think if Bama was a 3-loss team that played for an SEC title, they're not going there to fall out of the playoff.
Exactly. They probably get that 10 seed, something like that, ahead of like a BYU, Utah, somebody like that. So just go win the games and shut everybody up.
BYU's strength of schedule is like way up there on these rankings. It's like, go look at their schedule.
Go look at all these offensive, defensive efficiencies on those grids. A&M is one of the 3 or 4 best teams in college football and undefeated. One of only 3.
And if you just watch football, you go, okay. And the guy was mentioned, they mentioned like game control. It's like, okay, they didn't have game control against South Carolina. They didn't have game control against Arkansas. But really, if you watch the game, like they had game control. They dominated the game against Auburn. It's just weird to me, like you don't call a touchdown back against Auburn, against
Arkansas,
and there's one more even. But you don't call those 2 touchdowns back. And you got
against South Carolina, but then he scored again.
Yeah, he scored again. That's true. But you got A&M would have had 1 game. South Carolina would be the only SEC game they didn't win by double digits. So are you telling me that in the course of a whole season, we're 2 touchdowns called back away from them being convinced we have like game control? Because that's what it feels like. It's really my only thing of all this. We can say it doesn't matter. Hey, go beat Texas. Okay, if you don't, how far do they drop you, and how much more difficult does your first round game get?
No.
There's no reason they should drop at 11-1 beyond like 5. And there's a huge difference after that 6. You play an ACC team or a group of 5. There's a huge difference between the G5 this year and the ACC.
The 6-7 difference is unbelievably dramatic.
It is.
Because the ACC,
you're playing a coin flip game in a 7-10.
Yeah.
The ACC, you're playing a team that on their best day could sneak you.
I mean, it's the difference in Hitchell and the Nard Dog or Ty Simpson in a rematch.
Yeah.
Well, if you lose one, you wouldn't play them. But anyway.
But yeah, you get what I'm saying though. Yeah. It's worth noting, and it's worth A&M fans thinking about and being kind of getting a red ass about, because the other part of that is you beat Texas, you go 12-0, you go to Atlanta, lose an SEC title game. They're basically telling you they're going to probably drop you out of the top 4, which I think would be absolutely preposterous and outlandish. I think if they beat Texas, they go up to 2. So if you tell me that if they would drop A&M from 2 to 5 in that scenario, it would be criminal, much less 2 to 6. I'm just telling you, they're looking to do that. So like you said, go down there,
You're the
beat
better
the
team
hell out of Texas
in almost
and win.
every matchup, right? Outside of kicker.
You're the better team. You've been the better team all year. That's not an insult at Texas. That is just how the 2 years have gone. You are a better team. What are your mutual opponents?
Florida,
Arkansas, and Mississippi State. A&M's 3-0. Texas is 2-1. Texas, they both kind of beat Arkansas similar. I know the final score.
That was a close game.
Jalen Green got hurt.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I'd love to see the other Jefferson kid.
And he pulled up. It wasn't like some kind of big hit knocked him out of the game. Had he stayed in there,
a big hit knocked him out of the game when we played him.
And he came back.
Yeah.
But so those games were pretty similar, close, but one team was just kind of going to just do this the whole time. And I know the final score was one way. Again, the starting star player of Arkansas played a little over 2 quarters.
One of the best players on the field every time.
Mississippi State, it took Texas a miracle. Had there not been a late hit, they don't win that game. They don't even have a chance in that game. A&M beat that team by 22. Went on a 31-0 run. And then we know what happened in Florida, and those games were like a week apart. So it wasn't like you played this Florida now. Those games were a week apart or a game apart. Yeah, a week apart. Yeah. And A&M pulled away with a 24-3 run to beat them by 17. And Texas used a run to get it to an 8-point decision.
And that's a Florida quarterback who struggled against virtually everyone else, including South Florida.
Yeah.
And threw 5 picks against LSU.
Yeah.
And what he was able to do against this Texas defense, which I'm telling you is bad. They've got players, but they've not been good for a while in a row, consecutively. Have not been good.
Do you feel weird saying that? Because I get nervous saying that because I do know the players. Yeah, and I do know the players, but they don't even recruit. They've shown it too on the field. They were big parts of last year's defense.
And early they were good. So what happened?
I don't know what's missing. I don't know what. If a Longhorn fan tells me it's because Taft broke his hand, I'll just roll my eyes. Like, he's all the way back. He was all the way back against Georgia. I think he played against Vandy. Like, what game did he miss there? Was it, did he play against Vandy? Was that the one he missed?
I think he might have missed that one. That would have timed up about right. But he played against Georgia, right?
Yeah. I'm lost here, but he did play against Georgia, and I don't think he's been that big of a. Deal for them. He's a good player, but he's not.
He doesn't make the wild plays. He's got 1 tackle for loss on the year. He's got no picks.
But he's ball aware. You better pay attention to him on Friday for sure. He's a good player. Simmons and Hill are great players.
He missed Vandy.
Simmons, Cassius Howell, Dylan Stewart, who the Aggies played last week, probably the 3 best pass rushers in the SEC, like probably without question. I don't care about stat numbers.
Yep.
Missouri's got a couple guys, but those 3 are like elite, project high NFL draft picks.
Yeah, they're Auburn's category.
They've got, he's good too. They've got real players.
Yeah.
So I'm reluctant to sit there and go, man, I think A&M is going to move the ball a lot and keep scoring points like they do. But you have a season's worth of A&M showing you they can do that, even if at times during the game it's difficult. And you've got a season, especially lately, like you said, where forget all your reasons. Forget like, oh, we had a garbage touchdown against Arkansas. Yeah, but you also had almost a full half without Taylor Green. 37-35 to Georgia. Oh, well, they got an onside kick. They still had to go down and score. They scored 21. Georgia doesn't score 35 on anyone lately or this year.
No, that was a get-right game for them.
35, so 37, 35, 31. Well, it was all at the end. Okay.
Close it out.
And you were hyping up Arch in the fourth quarter and what he did. That fourth quarter in Starkville counted. It was telling you he was a great quarterback. So then
right.
This one, fourth to get.
Got to play them all.
And then they gave up. In Kentucky, they slowed them down, but in Florida went all over them.
Florida, that's right.
They don't do that offensively to anybody. So
29. Yep.
It's been a. They've been getting clipped a lot, and A&M again, even when it's a struggle, they got nothing in a half against South Carolina and scored 31. They got nothing for 28 minutes against Mississippi State, scored 31. They were in a grinded out fight with Florida, in the second and third quarter, scored 34. They're going to find a way.
Against Mizzou.
Mizzou on the road.
And leaned on them in the run game. Accepted their 2 and 3 yards a pop and then opened it up late.
Yep. And 38. So
yeah, exactly. And that's a good defense.
41 at Notre Dame, 45 at Arkansas. Like, they find a way. And I thought all year, they're going to play a really brutal couple of defenses in Florida. The only defense that they didn't get it done against was Auburn, who, by the way, A, is really good, and B, again, we all came away from that game going, how the hell did they not score 30-plus?
Well, we cleaned up a lot of issues that were haunting us at that time.
Yeah.
Like those penalties.
Yeah. And you had one called back, and you missed 2 field goals, which that's one of the things where you really, that's the weakness as you go into this most meaningful of stretches.
Yes.
If someone asks, hey, what scares you about this team? Kicking game, period. Like, punting hasn't been great. Kicking's been bad.
Yep. Don't let this game teeter on the line.
No,
2.5, where you got to make a kick to win it.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
Or a kick to put it away.
Yes.
Sometimes you might be sitting there playing with a 14-point lead going, this game would be over if it was sitting at 17, if we'd made that 30-something yard field. So, doesn't really matter. It does matter, but it can be the early ones, too, that impact the course of a game, or if Elko feels like, hey, I have to go for it here because I don't trust this kick from here. And if you don't get it, those things matter. Those things factor in. So that is a weakness right now. There's no question. But outside of that, I mean, how concerned are you? I'm torn because I'm really that first half against South Carolina, but then I'm like, let's not forget what they did in back-to-back weeks at LSU and Missouri. Not back-to-back, with back-to-back games. And then for a half against South Carolina, they completely just no-showed and just got in their own heads, I think, against that first half against Carolina. If you take that out and say their last 10 of their last 12 quarters. So second half, what's that score? That is you're plus 21, you're plus 28, so you're plus 49, and against LSU you were plus 25. So plus 74 in your last 3 games since that first half. You're plus 74. Think about that.
Yeah.
Again,
well, and I think we're a better team having overcome that half.
I do too.
I'm not worried about that, particularly on the road. Let's get into a quarterback conversation for a second, because Easton asked me a question Monday, and I wanted to bring it up to you.
Okay.
He said, Dad, do you think Marcel Reed will be completely dialed in on Friday? I guess this is the 13-year-old Aggie, battered Aggie, worried about the South Carolina game. And I said unequivocally, without question, no hesitation, absolutely, I have no reason to believe he won't be completely dialed in and will be at his best in this game. There's a lot of reasons why we got the best quarterback in this game without question, and a lot of reasons to expect him to be great on Friday night in Austin. You agree with that?
Yeah, he's risen to the occasion every time. And sometimes it's not perfect, and that's fine. Like, it wasn't perfect against LSU. There were a couple picks in there, but it was starting the game with a long touchdown run on the road to silence the crowd. It was a beautiful throw on the second drive to Casey Concepcion to say, man, it might be a long night for this defense we thought was good. It was that second half of perfection that we're watching right now against South Carolina. It was Notre Dame playing from behind, making so many big plays, and then on that final drive, hey, we're going to call back a touchdown return for a kickoff return for a score. Now you got to go the length of the field to win it. Okay. Now you're in 3rd and long. Okay, I'm going to scramble and get the first. Now you're in 4th and long. Okay, I'm going to throw it up to my tight end, make a perfect throw under pressure, game over. Like, every single instance, he has risen to the occasion.
Keeps passing tests, man.
So if you think he's not, then you're just, you might be right because it's sports, but there's no logical basis for that. Like what this season has shown you, what number 10 has shown you, what this team has shown you is that they will come ready, and that first half against South Carolina was an outlier. And like you said, you're probably better off for it because A, it's a wake-up call. B, it was like, man, we almost let this get away. I don't ever want to let that happen again.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to run down.
By the way, not to mention, it proved to them what this is what we can do.
Yeah.
No matter the situation.
No question. You can win all kinds of different football games, including getting down like you were. Mm-hmm. We can still fight back because we're a damn good football team. Like you said, I mean, there's all these in critical moments when the stakes are highest. He's already proven that when a lot's on the line, he's really stinking good. Also, that revenge factor, like he wasn't going to let last year South Carolina ruined our season. Well, you know who stomped on our season? Texas. Yep. This year, he wasn't going to let even a poor first half, and that team, that revenge factor at play, they even kind of mentioned it, hinted at it, not going to let that happen again. Well, we all remember what happened last year. Mm-hmm. Couldn't get a yard when you needed to.
Yep.
I think he's going to remember that. Rivalry type game, like he's been at his best in many rivalries, like LSU, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. How good's he been in those games? Well, furthermore, look at this one. This is the rivalry game of rivalry games. Heisman moments. When all eyes are on him, LSU, Notre Dame. And then the road games, like road rank games, has been at his best. So there's just so many reasons logically now to believe he's going to be so freaking good when the lights are brightest.
Road rank games. He's what, 3-0 this year.
Yep.
He's 6-0 against LSU, Missouri, and Florida. I know throwing Missouri in there seems like, but
they were good.
They were both ranked. Yep. And one was a top 10.
Yep.
So 6-0 in those games, home and road. He's gone and won in the Swamp. He's won in front of Touchdown Jesus. He's won in Fayetteville. What else? Am I forgetting the road? I mean, Columbia. But really, like this, he's won in the Swamp. He's won in Fayetteville. He's won in Gainesville, Fayetteville, South Bend.
Baton Rouge.
And Baton Rouge, Death Valley. So, and then on top of that, the other thing is, like, he's won 12 times in 12 starts this year. And so is his team. I think Marcel also, think about fourth quarter, like, clutch time, Marcel.
Mm-hmm. He's at his best, man, in those moments.
Gave them the lead to win it at Auburn last year. Gave them the lead to win it against USC. Was damn near perfect and won it in South Bend. Was perfect throughout the fourth quarter on the road in Fayetteville at night with them trying, to will them to an upset. He was, what's another fourth quarter? Where's the other one where I thought he was,
well, put the game in out of
South
hand.
Carolina.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Course, so put the game out of hand against Florida and Mississippi State.
Yeah, but those ones though that were like the pressure moments, Auburn, USC, Notre Dame, Arkansas, South Carolina. I've named at least 5 now, just right off the top of your head, where he's been nails in the fourth quarter. So, again, checks those boxes. And it is why I think he should be. I think if he beats Texas, I think we're all caught up in what everyone's saying about A&M now. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when they beat LSU, everybody was Marcel Reed, Heisman, A&M. They got a chance to win the whole thing. They did this. More people jumped on board after Missouri. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, that was a tough road environment. They went out there and just game control, smoked them. And more people were saying that. And then even though in the wake of that South Carolina game, everyone was praising, you can tell there's been a little shift now where they go, well, maybe they're not that good. And then Samford, they just kind of, no one pays attention. So it's a couple weeks of not being really where you want to be in the spotlight in terms of like what people are saying about you. Mm-hmm. They can get all that back by Texas for the same reasons we hate. They get more credit than they deserve a lot of times, or that's warranted. You go win that game, and you're gonna get that credit. Same thing I said when they played LSU in Baton Rouge.
This will be the brightest lights that he's had all year, and I think he shines the most.
And if he does, then people are gonna go, oh, A&M can win a national title. They'll do that again, and they'll say, if he wins an SEC championship and beats Bama or Georgia, he could steal the Heisman Trophy.
100%.
Because he will. Yep. If he beats Texas and wins an SEC title game and plays well, doesn't have to be incredible. I think he wins the Heisman.
Exactly.
Barring Mendoza going and lighting up Ohio State and beating them.
Yeah, exactly. Kyler came from behind to take it from Tua.
Mm-hmm,
I can 100% see that, especially if Ohio State looks good defensively against Mendoza.
If you put this guy's resume, not just the highlights but you have the comeback, you have the South Bend stunner, you have Death Valley with the whole country watching, and if he goes and beats Notre Dame, LSU, Texas, and Alabama, all away from home, along with all those moments,
Marcel Mo.
There's one big step to take on Friday.
Got to do it.
And it's still a big step. It's a very big step.
Well, he's undoubtedly always kind of in line for a dog of the week. We've already done our Samford analysis by simply mentioning that game was played like Billy did, so that was our 1 second analysis. Let's look ahead and use dog of the week to project who it's going to be, and let's do it on each side of the ball. Dog of the week, presented by Dogleg Golf. I've already been there 4 times.
Have you?
Yeah.
You need to bring me.
It's awesome. College Station's newest indoor golf simulator facility, whether you're looking to practice your swing, play a full round with friends, or just hang out. Have some more. We played Paynes Valley, which is a Tiger course in Branson. We've played Wolf Creek over there in Vegas, and I didn't have to leave College Station. It's pretty cool. Dogleg's got you covered on all that stuff. Top-of-the-line simulators, comfortable bays, laid-back atmosphere, perfect for golfers of all levels. Rain or shine, it's always tee time at Dogleg. 2551 Texas Avenue South, Suite E1, right in between Brown Shoe Store and 40 Tempura. Online at Dogleg, that's Legg, dogleg-golf.com. And this one, Billy, looking ahead each side of the ball, who is your dog of the week entering the Texas game?
Man.
Who you're looking at in this matchup? Offensively, against the Longhorns?
Offensively, my dog of the week. I'm going to go with. I'm torn. That's what's good news. Is it Ruben Owens? Is it KC? Is it Marcel?
Does 8 surprise people and get on the field?
I don't know. I'm not. I'd be surprised.
Okay.
Is it? I'm gonna go. Is it Mario Craver? But I'm gonna go with KC. Just the season he's had, but man, I'm really torn between he and Craver. I think Craver's gonna in one of these next 2 games. I think he's gonna go for like 140 plus, either Friday night or in the SEC title game if they get there. But I'm gonna go with Casey Concepcion. I think he's been playing lately, like all year, but especially late. He's an All-American, and I'm gonna go with him. And he's a huge part of the reason why they're there. I'm gonna go with number 7.
I'll let you do defense in a second. I'm gonna go offensive line as a collective. You hear Amaje Reed Adams talking this week. I mean, they're remembering they couldn't get a yard when they had to last year, and it's worn on them. It's motivated them. This Texas defensive line is their strength, and their star player is Colin Simmons.
Yeah.
Can they neutralize that sucker and run the football against this group and do what teams have been doing for the last 6 weeks? You go back to mid-October. We just talked about it. But it starts with those dudes up front, and I think A&M gets it done. And it's those 7 as a collective because they're going to move them around more than anybody else in the nation.
If that is the case, then I probably don't need to hear anything else, and I would say A&M would win that football game. And it very well, I almost expect that. And that's a big part of why I expect A&M to win. They're so much better on the O-line than they were a year ago, and they're so much better at getting after the quarterback.
Exactly. Both sides of the ball. All right. How about defensive then? Dog of the week. Entering Texas.
Oh, my gosh. I've said this already. How do you not say Cassius Howell? Because he's such an obvious. I'll go with my second pick was Tyler Onyedem. I think he's been playing really good. I don't know what the stats will tell you at the end of that game, but I think he's going to be very impactful on Saturday.
Yep.
He's a guy that's been really – his athleticism between the tackles is a real problem.
Did you have any clue?
Kind of reminds me of another guy that wore number 11 that went down to Austin and had himself a game a few years ago. Michael Bennett. I'm talking about he's built more like an older Michael Bennett than college DN Michael Bennett.
Right.
He plays and is a little more like NFL Bennett, but really disruptive in there.
I like that. Did you have any clue when we got him he'd be this kind of impact player?
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty big pickup.
Yeah.
And a pretty big one to hang on to. But, yeah, I did. I did. As a collective, that group has been better, though, than I thought. Hicks, Regis, Onyedem, and we talked about it. That was one of the wild cards of this team. How much could this D-line make up for the loss? And I said repeatedly, I've absolutely thought they would be better at rushing the passer. Those inside guys, though, have been better at collectively than I thought they would. Yeah.
All right, I'll go Dalton Brooks, Shiner guy down the road from Hallettsville over there. A lot of Longhorns over there, quite a bit of Aggies over there. I'm just riding that kind of corridor, right? And over there,
he's
close
been
to
active.
Gonzalez. You know, he's been really good. Remember, Jonathan Brooks was his cousin right down the street in Hallettsville. But this guy's been really, really good lately and is a big play guy. And Texas has some big play guys at receiver. Now, obviously, Lee and Ricks have got to step up. So do the safeties. I like us in this matchup, and the reason I'm confident is 25. I think he's playing some all-SEC level football. Who knows if anybody's paying attention to the point where he'll get votes. We kind of get marooned on an island over here
if he
sometimes.
gets his hands on him.
He's good,
A couple footballs again this week, he might.
I'm telling you what, that guy's a player.
Don't forget now, so he had the pick against South Carolina that he nearly housed.
Yep.
He had the scoop fumble that he nearly housed against South Carolina. He had a huge sack against Taylor Green. He had a sack, I think, late or assisted in one against Sellers. He had the fake punt. Again, he set up 2 touchdowns with his hands on the football at Missouri.
Yep.
But one thing people are forgetting too. Don't forget that he also dropped what probably would have been about a 95-yard pick six in Baton Rouge early in that one.
That's right.
He's finding the football.
Yeah.
He seems to be feeling it, and I do think Texas is going to have to throw a lot. So I think that's a really good pick there, and no pun intended on pick. I think whether it's an interception or a sack, forced fumble, Dalton Brooks could be a key factor for A&M Friday night.
We'll step away just for 1 second and go right back to A&M Texas with Easton's Corner and then some final thoughts here. But while we're on this this is separate from A&M Texas, but underdog of the week, dogleg golf, dogleg-golf.com. 3 games where the underdog is favored by 7 or more. Ole Miss at Mississippi State, Rebels favored by 7.5. Ohio State at Michigan, Buckeyes are favored by 9.5, but have lost the last 4 games against that team. Virginia Tech, Virginia is interesting to me because Virginia Tech stinks. They fired their coach. They're an 8.5-point dog, but they've beaten Virginia 19 of the last 20 games. Can you believe that? It's the most shocking stat.
No.
19 out of 20 Vatech has won in this matchup, and they're an 8.5-point dog.
If you want to think how crazy that is, Virginia Tech hadn't been very good for probably, at least a decade?
They've been terrible.
15 years?
Right.
It's been a long time.
Three, four coaches.
And that's more dominance than A&M's had over Arkansas.
And UVA with like O'Connell or whatever, they've been pretty good actually for
That's
a little
better
while.
than what they did against Arkansas.
Right.
What A&M's done. And we know how lopsided that one's been. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but you go back to Virginia won like Fran's first year against them and one time since. Because they didn't play in 22 because of the guys that died at UVA.
Oh, the shooting, yeah.
Anyway.
Well, if you are asking me which one I pick.
Yeah, to win the game outright. Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
What's the spread of
State,
Georgia
Michigan.
Tech, Georgia?
6.5. I didn't put that on there.
That's mine.
No, that's more. It's like 11.5.
That's mine. Haynes King's revenge.
I don't think so, man.
I know, the defense looks bad. You're right.
It's a lot. What? It's like 12, 13.
I'm doing too much on Haynes King bouncing back after that game against Pitt, and avenging last year's game. But that Georgia Tech defense is playing poorly, and Georgia's offense is ramping up.
I'm telling you, yeah.
Then in that case,
you picking State, the Wolverines, or Vatech?
Gabe, I think I'm picking State. I think the turmoil of Lane Kiffin and all that stuff.
Distracted.
It just feels like, could you imagine him having to go in there?
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I expect all three favorites to win.
Yeah, I do too.
If I had to pick one, I'd go State.
I do too, but man, my heart pick is the Wolverines. I want that so bad. I heard Zane say it's been 2,188 days. Is that right,
Golly.
Nick? Since Ohio State beat Michigan.
That's crazy.
Pretty amazing.
All the more reason A&M needs to. All the more reason A&M needs to beat Texas, because even though they've only played twice in that long, they'll start using that damn number.
Yep.
It's time. It's overdue.
All right, Easton's Corner right here leads us right back into Texas because he asked a very poignant question because clearly he thinks A&M is the better team. So listen for this one. Here's Easton's Corner this week heading into this matchup with Texas.
This is Easton's Corner. We got Texas week. There's a lot at stake here. That's at stake is a first-round bye in the playoffs, the first ever SEC championship. We got the Heisman for Marcel. There's a lot of things that need to happen for this to be. I mean, we're the better team. We're way better than Texas is in every category. You can't say their receivers are better because our wide receiver 3 would be like the wide receiver 2. I know Wingo's really good, but I think our wide receiver, I feel like Terry Bussey would start for them. Our wide receiver core is very strong. Our quarterback's the better quarterback. Our running back room is the better running backs. Our offensive line is the better offensive line. Our defensive line is the better defensive line. Our whole entire defense is just better. Our kickoff returns, punt returns. The only thing that they have us beat is kicking. So, I mean, if you want to brag about having a better kicker than us, do it. I don't care because we're about to BTHO on Texas this weekend. I mean, Black Friday, there's so much that just needs to happen. I mean, I feel like Marcel can just ball out. He's been playing way better on the road than he is at home. I feel like he can just prove to everyone that it wasn't just a weak competition. Because he did this against Notre Dame. He did this against some pretty good opponents. I mean, the Missouri defense. He showed that he can do it on the road. I think he can definitely do it against Texas's weak defense. I feel like Marcel's going to ball out. We're going to get to the SEC championship. We're going to play Georgia. And we're going to beat Georgia. We're going to get the first round bye. We're going to be 1 or 2 because Indiana or Ohio State's going to lose. We might be 1 just because I feel like Michigan's going to beat Ohio State. They've beat them like the past 4 years. So this is the perfect time to just go 13-0 this season. Get first round bye in the playoffs. Play the easier teams second round. We can just make a run at it. After that, we're in the national championship. Just like that, you just see us, and it's like, what is this A&M team doing? But back to the Texas game. My question for you, Billy, is what is 3 things that we need to avoid in order to avoid the upset that Texas might give us. What are 3 things that just we need to avoid?
Okay.
There you go.
Well,
he's fired up.
Yeah, well, all he had to do there was mix in a 6-7 joke and put him on the playoff committee. Replace him for Yurachek.
He's analyzing things a little better than half those cats.
Yeah.
I guess he thinks Auburn's going to beat Bama.
Yeah,
he
it sounded like it.
Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia. That would be fun.
Yeah.
I think Bama will win, but they certainly could lose that game.
They could. Yeah.
Auburn's found some offense. And I've said all along, that Bama team, there's something about it I don't love.
Auburn will run the ball better.
In that defense.
So you see how he asked that? Like, he thinks if it just line up play football, we're going to win. But if we do what?
Well, they can't turn the ball over. Like Marcel's got to make good decisions under pressure. And I think part of that answer is take off and go. Make them be scared. Make them be a lot more conservative in their pass rush. That's the best way to negate it, and getting rid of the ball quickly. So you can't let that pressure lead to turnovers like it did in that first half against South Carolina and at times last year. But Marcel's done a great job of handling that. The second one to me is you can't do a slow start. Don't let that Texas's crowd is not – it's not been amazing over the years. They haven't played Texas A&M since 2010. It's going to be rocking at DKR, and you can't let that team feed off of that during a good start. That's and again, A&M's done a really good job of that, with the exception of the exception of Notre Dame when you fell behind, and but even then they handled it. But that's part of that. That sets the stage for a much tougher football, anyone's game type of thing. And then the third thing to me would be, you can't let Arch Manning get into a rhythm. He's at that stage in his development where I think he's getting noticeably better. He's giving you more and more glimpses of what's to come, which I think he's going to be, I've said it all along, he's going to be really good. But I don't think he's there yet. But if he's in a rhythm and he's comfortable and he's not getting hit and knocked around and he doesn't feel that hit coming and he doesn't have pressure in his face from the linebackers and from those big 3D tackles, he's proven he can carve and cut up a defense. But if he is pressured,
he can heat up.
If he is pressured, there's a lot of inaccurate throws. There's a lot of TFLs and drive-killing plays that all of a sudden you look up and Texas is, you keep giving that ball back to that A&M offense, and that's where A&M gets you. The Aggies have been so good on third down that if they keep getting the ball back to the offense, then that's when that running game has a cumulative toll. That's when Marcel and the passing game get going against a more tired defense, and it's game over. So they've got to – you can't let Arch get in a rhythm, because if he does, he's really – when he gets going, he looks really good. Like, okay, that's what the future's going to look like, and we're seeing it now.
Yes.
If you get him where his feet aren't set and he does some weird things still that get him into trouble when the pressure is real and when it's really getting to him.
Goes back to where you said earlier, you just have to dominate up front in this game.
Yeah.
Go out there and prove from the word go that A&M's the better and more physical football team. You do that, you stonewall Wisner and company, you get them in 2nd and 9, 3rd and 7, and then you do what A&M's better than anybody in the country right now doing, under 22% on third down. They're bad on third down conversions.
That Elko Sark nationally is fun like too.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, but I think we got the better head coach. And I think he's going to be – he's the best going at dialing up stuff on third down, making adjustments. They better be ahead pretty good if they want to win the game, because we're not stopping. We're making adjustments. But you do worry about it, Billy, because they're like second in the SEC in big pass plays.
Yep.
And we could be prone to that, even if it's over the top or just these little things that Wingo takes and you don't tackle.
Haven't really been, but there's enough. I wouldn't say like, oh, that's a weakness.
Yeah,
but we've seen it. But and we've seen it enough that when you match up with a team that it's their strength, you go, I wonder. I'm not entirely comfortable with that.
Yeah.
You saw, you've played some quarterbacks that just haven't been able to do that, but you saw Lagway do it for a little bit. You saw Missouri tried it. Nussmeier hit one down. And they're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
There were some holes when C.J. Carr was throwing. You saw Sellers hit a long one and then another one in that pocket there that was wide open early, and then obviously the catch and run. But
you mitigate that, though, by dominating up front.
But throughout the course of the season, they've done a good job of preventing it. And when you know that that's what the team's going to want to do, I think that changes kind of the way you play it a little bit, too.
Yeah. We give you a number, 196 average rushing yards for A&M, whether or not you've had Le'Veon Moss. Last year, it created our season. This year, we've been able to win despite it and have really good success on the ground. And a big stable of backs that are all committed to this thing. Not a 20-carry guy, but a big stable of different type of backs. Go in there and eclipse 196. Maintain balance. Give Marcel the ability to have that. And that includes his rushing ability.
I think Ruben Owen should be pretty motivated this week, too. Just with the way his recruitment was. He at one point committed to Texas.
Yeah.
Being an El Campo guy, like you mentioned, Dalton Brooks. These are split Aggie Longhorn towns.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Dalton Brooks, him too. But I think Ruben Owen should be a guy that's pretty fired up entering this one.
All right, give me your confidence on a Wednesday. It goes up and down. Mine usually goes lower as we get closer to the game, but I'm feeling pretty good right now.
I feel like A&M I know it's going to be close. I don't see a world where A&M does what they did in Baton Rouge or Missouri and empty out that stadium. I just don't see it. I think
that'd be amazing.
I think Texas is improving. I think they've got weapons. The matchup is kind of one that it doesn't favor Texas, but I've seen more favorable matchups for A&M. I think this is going to be a very close game. The Aggies have a lot to play for. It's on the road. I think the Aggies win not a struggle. It's just going to be a good game. Like it's a struggle for both teams.
Well, we've shown we can win that kind of game.
Yeah, I like A&M like 31-23, something like that.
Yeah.
31-24, 30-24, something in that range.
So a cover, but certainly not one you pull away maybe and just add that second score. Yeah, I like it too. I like our head coach in this matchup. I like all our players in almost every head-to-head match. I like our quarterback better. I like our stable backs better. I like our receivers. I like our lines better, and a lot to love about this game. Well, it's a rivalry.
I'm glad it's back.
Really fun. Makes you nervous, but to hell with that. Go beat the crap out of this team. You're better than them.
It's been very meaningful, this game, the last 2 years. I said earlier, I think on the podcast with Amanda, it's been bigger than Alabama-Auburn the first 2 years back. Way 100%. More meaningful in the CFP and SEC title landscape.
There's no doubt.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, brother. All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, happy Thanksgiving.
Episode 14 in the books with Billy Liucci. I'm Gabe Bock. Meet us right back here next week, hopefully previewing a trip to Atlanta in the SEC Championship and breaking down what we hope is an incredible win in Austin. Coming up Friday, 6:30, DKR Texas Memorial Stadium on ABC. Gig 'em. Let the good times roll. Happy Thanksgiving.